Hello, and welcome to Realizations with Clarissa, a podcast sharing weekly lessons on productivity through well-being. I'm your host, Clarissa Dunan, and every week I'll be sharing stories, realizations, and the lessons I'm learning while I'm figuring out paano ba magkaroon ng more fulfilling relationships, lasting happiness, and productivity, both at home and at work. Expect tips on how you can enjoy a quiet mind every day and feel more confident and secure at marami pang iba to bring more positive feelings into your day. If you are ready to explore these realizations with me, remember to follow and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoy the podcast, please leave us a rating and a review. It will really help us to reach and inspire more listeners. Together, we can spread positive feelings even further. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Our topic today is about self-discovery, and in particular, it's transforming your challenges, your pain, your struggles, your feelings of emptiness into purpose, into a life of meaning. And our guest today will share her journey kung paano nangyari yung transformation na yan. So this episode is for you kung ikaw na-feel mo or baka na-experience mo mismo ngayon na there's that emptiness that you cannot experience. Ano ba yung something missing na yan? And how do you find that? Or maybe you're trying to find out ano yung purpose ng mga challenges mo. What is it trying to teach you? Why is it happening to you right now? Or maybe you want to discover your true self or what it means to be a human being, what it means to be spiritual, diba? And how spirituality can address mental health or psychology. How do they work together in spirituality and psychology? And our guest will also be talking a lot about forgiving yourself and feeling compassion towards yourself. And she will also share practical tips on how you can handle critical thoughts. Yan, para hindi ka na nabuburden ng kung anong thoughts na tumatakbo sa isip mo. And this is also for you if you want to turn calmness, okay, and relaxing your mind and body into a habit. Tuturuan niyo din tayo ng simple grounding exercise na pwede nating gawin on our own. And our guest is wow, highly qualified to teach all of that, lalo na because she's been in her own well-being journey for many years, and she's also a yoga teacher. So, let's welcome my friend, Vita-Marie Baggayan. Hi, Vita.
Hi, Clarissa.
Akalain mo yon, October nagkakilala tayo sa LinkedIn, tapos mahigit 1 oras nagdaldalan sa phone, tapos eto na tayo ngayon.
Yes. So, yes. Oh, na-remember ko yun. Na-remember ko yung visions mo about wanting to make a difference in the Filipino community. And here you are. Here you are making a difference. I love all your videos on LinkedIn. And thank you for reaching out to me. And I think you attract the people that you're meant to attract, because when you start changing your energy, you attract the certain people that you wanted to be in your life. And I think you're part of that.
Grabe yung support mo. Sabi ko, grabe. First message pa lang niya sa LinkedIn, grabe na yung support niya. Kaya thank you so much sa pagpa-unlock dito sa interview na to. And what really attracted me to your profile as well, kasi nasa well-being community ka din. Can you tell me more about what led you into the well-being world?
Oh, it's actually a journey, a personal journey that attracted me to the well-being community, to the well-being world. I've always been in the health industry, health and social care industry. It's not something I chose. It's something that someone chose for you. And then I think fast forward, I went to the UK. I've always wanted to pursue education. I always wanted to progress myself. When you reach that point, pag na-reach mo na yung point where you felt, oh, everything looks good on paper, you have a nice job, you have a good network, you have a good degree, and then you reach to a certain point where it feels hollow.
Mm-mm.
And at that point, I felt so. I think the right word is empty.
Mm-mm.
Although from the world outside you, people thinking, oh, nakatira siya sa
Mm-mm.
London, she's this and that, but people don't really see what's really happening inside. So, and I think what led me to the well-being world is that feeling of lacking a purpose, feeling empty, and it's like you're constantly chasing something. Parang lagi kang mahinahabol, but then when you reach that point, wala, there's nothing, there's emptiness. So I got my life was it was good. It was good, but it wasn't as peaceful. So that led me to the well-being world. And I've reached the point where, when they say, when you have to reach a certain point where your life has to crumble. Lahat mawawala sa your health. I don't feel, I don't feel well. I felt so stressed all the time. There's no peace of mind. So lahat ng meron ka, all that you have, mawawala sa um and that's what happened to me. My life began crumbling. Lahat nawala. And I started to step back a little bit, and that's what the journey of the well-being started for me. So I went back home because I have to leave everything behind and start something new. And my wellness journey started when all the relationship had break down. Nothing has been working out,
Mm-mm.
and I said to myself, maybe it's time to rethink.
Mm-mm.
So I went to Bali. I went
Wow.
to Bali. I did my eat, pray, love moment. Obviously, my relationship didn't work out, job didn't work out, everything wasn't working out. I think I have to be really honest that life has no meaning that time. I was overweight. I was constantly stressed up to the point that I felt really empty. So I said to my partner that time, my friend, I said to him, because we're gonna go separate ways. So he also felt like there's something missing in his life, and I felt like, so if you have two people that in that situation, it's it's not a good space to start something. And I felt like I have to do something for myself. There's this burning desire of doing something. Pero hindi ko alam kung ano yun. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it look like. I have a vision. I have an idea of what it is, but it's hard for me to articulate it. Anyway, so I went to Bali. I always wanted to be a yoga teacher, and I would say that was the start of my wellness journey. I always wanted to be a yoga teacher, and I didn't realize that time. Now, it is just a step. I'm just scratching the surface. You know what I mean? You're just scratching the surface. We're becoming a yoga teacher. I would say a well-being journey is more of a spiritual journey. So I went to Bali. I studied yoga, studied to become a yoga teacher, and I said to myself, medyo selfish yung intention ko pa. Sabi ko, no, I wanted to study to become a yoga teacher for my own self, because I feel like I needed it. Tapos sabi sa akin ng teacher ko, sabi niya, he's Australian, sabi niya, you have the gift of the gab, sabi sa akin ng ganun. And I said, I'm not going to teach. I'm not going to teach. Anyway, it's been how long now? I think it's been 5 years. I went to yoga. I went back home. I left my job in the health and social care industry. I was managing then a home care. life was good, money was good. And I left all those things to become a yoga teacher. So I went back to the Philippines, and that was my way of, without a thought or without an intention of, I want to be popular. I want to earn money. No, I think I felt like I just want to do this for myself. And then that little thought created the ripple effect. So my well-being journey revolved around curating a path that I didn't know I wanted to helping other people, different people, different walks of life. I started my yoga class in a church, in a small church in a little town where people don't even know, they've heard about yoga, narinig nila yung yoga, but they haven't attended the yoga class, but people wanted to try. People have a misconception of yoga para lang sa mayaman yan, para lang sa may pera, ganyan. But I think it took a turn when you give them, when you teach them something that will make them realize of their own power. And for me, that was my well-being journey. I would feel that yoga was just a platform for me to actually realize my true potential as a human being. What taught me is the quieting of the mind. The quieting of the mind doesn't mean you have to shut down the chatter on your mind. It's more of there's a chatter on your mind. Merong, you have this, all of it's given. Our mind cannot shut down because it's there to protect us. It's our survival instinct. It helps us to survive in the world. But what the practice of quieting the mind, particularly yoga, is just a tool to quieten your mind, is to learn how to not shut the mind down, but to listen to the chatter in your mind and be able to go through the challenge of the world. That was my well-being journey, because my life then wasn't as peaceful, I would say. But I discovered this, and that gave me the feeling of inner peace. When I say that was just the start of the journey, the end goal was meeting God and having a relationship with God. And that was the tool that was used. Yoga was just a tool that was used for us to, for me in particular, to learn how to listen, to listen to them, to find the peacefulness inside me, and to realign, what is my purpose? What is the divine's purpose for myself, for me to be able to live a fruitful and fulfilling life? So I feel like that was the start of my what I call intentional living. So that was my wellness journey, coming from low, depressed, overweight, to feeling more peaceful, feeling more grounded, and whatever challenges I face, I don't go, we don't, hindi na ako nagpapanic, but it's about facing the challenge and learning how to ground yourself, and to, I really like what you said earlier, to surrender and to dance with the challenge. And I feel like every person, not just the Filipino community, because every person should learn, or must learn how to do it, is to go through the challenge in a way that you step back, you quiet your mind, and that is done through different practices: meditation, prayer, grounding, having filling your cup, avoiding all the noise, and just focusing on the silence, so that you'll be able to navigate your way through the challenge. So yeah, that was my well-being journey. I went through a lot, but I went through a lot of detours. But yeah, um, yeah.
Wow, you got me hooked there para akong nanonood ng movie.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Grabe na. You mentioned grounding and before tayo nag-start mag-record nito, I asked you a favor to lead both of us, well, particularly me, into centeredness through grounding. And
Mm.
maraming tao, including me a few years ago, ano ang grounding? Akala ko yung grounding, yung, di ba, sa ground o kaya pag nakuryente ka. So, can you lead us, the audience, Vita, and in a way na pwede nilang gawin din on their own without you and me guiding them? Can you teach us more about grounding?
Oh, that's a really good question. You mentioned about corriente grounding. I saw this documentary. It's a YouTube. I think it's free, and um, this man, he was telling about different stories. I think he used to be, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this. It was a long time ago na nakita ko tong documentary na to. I think he was an electrician, and he used to work as an electrician from a big company. He used to install alam mo yung mga big poles
Mm-mm.
um, um, of I would say electricity sa in their particular place.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, to cut the story short, so he discovered that every time na I think he suffered from some sort of migraine or headache. I can't remember. Um, he took his shoes off. He took his shoes off, and when he grounds himself to the not the floor but a soil, he noticed this sense of calmness. Nawawala yung headache niya, nawawala yung migraine niya. And I think he shared it to, and some people also have tried it. I think trying to create them grounding mat. I'm not particularly sure. So anyway, the idea behind grounding is the ground, the soil has an energy.
Mm-mm.
Well, we're surrounded by energy. Everything is energy. So he said that when you ground yourself to, um, a soil, to the beach, wherever you are, you absorb the energy of the land, and that gives you a feeling of groundedness. So that's the idea of grounding. Um, Grounding, meaning, is the ability to find a space for you to navigate your way through all this noise in your head. So one of the things I do is meditation music. There's certain music actually. I've this is just the things that I've heard, I've read. There's certain music, the energy of the music that helps you or help your nervous system to come down. So these are one of the things that you can do. And I think one of the things as well, especially us, living abroad as Filipinos or working abroad as Filipinos, busyness, yung busy lagi, yung busyness is always our, what you call that, a word. Lagi tayong busy. We're always busy, working, having 2 jobs, 3 jobs. And one of the practices I do to keep me centered
Mm-mm.
is finding the time in a particular day, either whatever works for you. Morning, what works for me is early in the morning, particularly early in the morning, 4:30, in your waking time ko. And to create that habit of when everything around you, even if you're a busy mother, a busy nurse, or you're studying, is to find a time for you. I find a time for you to allow the quietness, be in the quietness, and to center yourself before you start your day. We don't know, or we think that it's it's just a very small practice. But notice mo yung difference when it comes to your energy, when it comes to how you handle challenges in your life, when it comes to handling difficult situation in your life. So these are the practices that help me, navigate the challenges in my life, particularly those times when I was feeling empty, I was feeling depressed or down. I found my practice. People think that a yoga practice is more stretching, moving. It's actually a practice that the stretching and moving is actually preparing you to calm your mind. The real practice of yoga is when you sit down and allowing the outside world to shut down and just allow the noise, not be shaken by the outside noise or outside world, and just allow yourself to to sit down and go through that noise. Yun yung practice ng yoga. It's not about the stretching. We call the stretching asana. It's not about this acrobatic things that we do. It's about, those are the things that you do to prepare you to sit down and to ground yourself, to navigate, to find your center, and to quiet your mind. So the practices are, it could be, number one is really finding the time, whatever day it is. Even if you're driving, it doesn't you don't have to be sitting down in a quiet dark room. It doesn't have to be. Mindfulness, or the practice of mindfulness, is finding each moment and finding each moment of your life to practice being present. So that's number one. Number two is, if you have the luxury of time, create a specific habit in the day. It could be just 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you have. You could be sitting in a car or a bus, and just noticing what's happening in your what's the chatter in your mind. Most of the time, if you listen to the chatter in your mind, it's all negative. So another practice would be just observing that. I would always say to my clients, it's like watching a cloud. Imagine that you are just watching a cloud and allowing the cloud to pass by. And that is like your thought. We have 10,000 thoughts running in our head. And just remember, they're like clouds. Clouds are just there. They would just pass by. So that's the idea of another practice that you could do, just watching your thought and remembering. And when you analyze your thought, or when you remember the thought that you have, or just observing it, rather, the right word is observe. When you observe the thought in your head, and just ask yourself a question. Is this thought real? Totoo ba to? When you look yourself in the mirror, I'm like this sometimes. I look, oh my God, laki ng tiyan ko. Ano ba yan? Alam mo yun, mga ganun. We as women have that feeling. Another practice is, ask yourself, is this real? Is this thought real? And if it's real, ask yourself, okay, if this is real, how can I accept this thought? So these are the practices that I have practiced or have put together for my well-being journey. Most of us think that well-being is all about, bubble bath, manicure, pedicure, ganyan. No, it goes deeper. It goes deeper in a way that you look at all your trauma. We are surrounded by trauma. Trauma, it's not just physical trauma. But emotional trauma. I've learned this from what's his name of the doctor? Dr. Gabor Mate. Sorry, I just have I still read this book, Dr. Gabor Mate. He Myth of Normal. It's a really good book. He talked about he spoke about we have this bubble word, well-being, wellness.
Mm-mm.
What does it mean? So he said that it goes beyond bubble bath. It goes beyond these are just superficial. What matters is look at your trauma as a person. This is part of the well-being journey. I have to go through that. I have to go through releasing all my trauma inside. Meaning, I'm not talking about physical trauma. I'm talking about emotional trauma.
Mm-mm.
When someone leaves you, or you separated from someone, or you didn't get the job, or you didn't get the support that you need. So Dr. Gabamati was saying that the trauma is when you've experienced trauma, is when you need someone to be there for you, but you didn't get the support that you needed. Say, for example, someone left you, you got separated. So that left a trauma in you. And we carry those trauma. We carry those trauma in our bodies. That's why it manifests as a disease, as a symptom, as an illness, because those trauma are not being released. That's why we have different kinds of mental illness. I'm not an expert, but these are the research that I've read. And he's saying that when you don't release this trauma in your body, what tends to happen is that it creates illness. The fear of one of the traumas are for me is the fear of being abandoned, alone, and these are my trauma. So I have to relearn. I have to relearn to be on my own. I have to relearn to allow myself to be on my own, for me to realize, and for me to release that feeling of abandonment. And I have to go through different coaches. I would one of the coaches that I've worked with, who would help me a lot with this one, is Nick Bro. I'm not sure if he's still doing, he's Canadian, and I used when I was in the Philippines, I really learned from him and how to navigate all, and he really puts you on a journey to really, reflect, not just reflect and rethink. Like, is this so? If there's a bad thought that comes to you, or a trauma that you still relieving in yourself, in your body, one of the things that he teaches that, he said, what was the word? Something about how true, or he asked about how true is this, or is this really true? And then you tend to step back. Tama, totoo ba to? Because
Yeah.
as human being, we have a story, but
Mm-mm.
then we recreate the story in a way that it becomes more dramatic. I mean, so and then that story becomes our reality,
Yeah.
and then we keep saying those stories. So one of the practices, I don't want to move away. One of the practices, we go deeper into the practice of just quieting your mind, is to know and learn and identify what are your traumas, what are your fears, what's blocking you to be in a real alignment of your purpose as a human being, as a person. And that goes, that's another, if you want to go deeper into your well-being practice, is to go through that, is to, is to go to a phase in your life where you learn how to sit into your sadness, into your loneliness, and allow yourself to be lonely. Because most of the time, sa atin, especially in our world today, you open your phone, and I do this sometimes. I sometimes like, oh my God, it's been an hour. I'm just scrolling, scrolling, because what we're doing is we're masking the sadness we have by looking at our phones. So what happens is that you don't get to feel the pain. You don't get to feel the the sadness, the loneliness. And I would say this is one among all the practices. This is one of the most effective practice, is to go through the deepest root cause of your pain, of your sadness, of your loneliness, of your fears, of your separation anxiety, of your fear of being alone, of your fear of eating alone, of your fear of living alone, of your fear of and you try to question where are all these fears coming. Why? Because you have accumulated all those fears and you haven't let go. All you do is you get another boyfriend or go to another relationship or listen to another podcast, and you think, when you come out from the podcast, you have all the tools. No, but you haven't sat down and go through the deepest crooks of, or the deepest wounds that you have, and where are those wounds are coming from. So I would suggest one of the things that you listen to, if your audience are, really interested in really improving their life, and if they're ready to move to the next level of their growth, is number one. I would suggest listen to Dr. Gabor Mate. Really good, really, really good. Talks about trauma, and he talks about the scientific, scientific based research about it. He wrote a book about it. Another one is Nick Bro. This coach, brilliant, and so many people as well. I really like Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza. They're all free on YouTube. You can listen to some of his videos. So it goes beyond, it goes beyond meditation. It goes beyond, these are the practices, but you have to do the work, the inner work, so that you can move to the next level, because next level of your life, because you'll never, no matter how many times you meditate, no matter how many times you sit down, if you don't heal the wounds. And of course, ultimately, once you get all those practices, what for me, my journey is that what led me is to finding God, finding the divine. And I don't know who you believe in. I believe in the divine power. I believe in the story of Jesus Christ. And that's where you find your alignment, your purpose. Because just imagine, in this world, no one had made it without a belief of the divine power, that someone up there, someone around you, or someone, there's a divine power that's helping you to grow. So those are the practices. Number one is, this coming year, this new year, it starts now. Sit down, face all those things that scares you, that worries you. Face your loneliness, face your sadness, and identify, why do you have all these things, and work through it. And one thing that I've learned from my well-being journey is forgiving yourself. Once you face your fears, your challenges, once you face your sadness, your trauma, you have to learn how to forgive yourself. One of the things that puts people into, one of the things, I'm just thinking, there was one person, I have one client, he couldn't let go of what happened to him. It was a very traumatic experience. And then he passed away, and he still carried that pain in his heart. And that pain caused him to have stroke, to have, different illnesses. So once you face all those fears, one of the practices you could do is you forgive yourself. Once you forgive yourself, and once you begin to love who you are, then you begin to move to the next level of your growth. That is the well-being journey. And that is the practice that you can do this year. The best gift that you can do this year is to sit down and reflect on your fears, trauma, challenges, what's holding you back from becoming the better version of yourself.
I have a follow-up question doon sa sitting down to reflect and
Yeah,
understanding where it's coming from.
yeah,
And I can really relate to that kasi I'm not sure if you remember yung sabi ko sa'yo noong una tayong magdaldalan, para tayong sisters from a different mother.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, yeah. It's
So,
true.
nagkakaintindihan tayo, no? So, can you tell us a bit more on how someone can do that
Mm-hmm.
without dwelling on, kumbaga, non-stop thinking, analysis, sobrang self-awareness to the point of self-absorption na di na maka-move forward sa kaka-analyze. So how do you draw the line so that you can still move forward while healing inside?
Oh, that's a really good question. I know someone who's very analytical, lahat ina-analyze, overthinking of things. Is we all always think, oh, I need to quiet my brain. I need to quiet my brain. I need to shut this brain down. It's not about shutting your brain. The brain will give you all this chatter. The idea is you listen. Um, Listen to the chatter in your mind. I have a teacher actually where I've really learned this. Oh, there's so many things. I wish I'd have the time to write them all down. But one of the things is that again, go back to I've read this. This is a turning point for me because I used to do that. Meditation was working out. Still, I still yes. This teacher said to me, yes, it's because you have an expectation that when you quieten your mind, you have to shut your brain down. No,
Mm.
the first practice that you need to do is to listen to the thought. Listen, observe the thought. That's the first. If that's the first practice, because what you do is that the brain will always give us something. Again, your brain is there for survival. It's there to protect you. That's the main point. So all these thoughts is to protect you from danger. That's all. So we cannot stop it. That we cannot stop the thought.
Mm.
The main practice is once that thought comes up, recognize the thought. There is a free course that you can do. I'll find out. I'll let you know.
Mm.
Anyway, so the practice is when you need it, you just lose it. I've done so many things in my well-being journey, but to be honest with you. But anyway, so the first practice of all these things is to recognize the thought.
Yes.
To recognize, and you observe. First one is you observe what is the thought. Recognize the thought. If the thought says, let's just say, I'm not good enough. This is I realize this is my thought. And then once, but it takes a lot of practice. It took me a while to practice. Sometimes I still fail. It's not about perfection.
Mm.
Remember that it's not about being perfect. It's about catching catching it, and on that particular moment when you catch it. So when you catch it, okay, nagawa ko na. I can do it again. So again, let's go back. So when you're sitting down, say for example, first time, wala kang idea how to do the meditation. The idea is not to meditate. The idea is your meditation is when you feel that thought of let's just say not good enough comes up, you recognize the thought, okay, I have this feeling of not good enough. Let's just say I'm having a conversation with you. All of a sudden, I have a thought saying, oh, I'm not good enough. Am I really good enough to be on this podcast? I'm not good enough. First thing is you catch that thought. And after you catch that thought, ask yourself, is this true? Is this thought true? How true is this thought? And if you think, is it true? So anong ginagawa mo? Bakit mo ginagawa yun? You are you're confusing your brain because you're so used, because everything is a habit. You're so used of thinking you're not good enough. Hence, you become not good enough. You feel not good enough. The body becomes not good enough. But then if you begin to confuse the thought and say, you question it. Am I really not good enough? Is it true? And you pause. You start thinking, oo nga no, am I not really good enough? I have to think another thought. Am I really not good enough? Or am I good enough? So once you catch that thought and say, am I really not good enough? You question the thought, and then you think and say to yourself, tama ba to? Or maybe this is just another thought. It's just a thought. It won't harm you. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. It won't harm you. But if you made your thought become your reality, then that will manifest in your body, in your mind, in your thoughts, in how you speak, in how you deal with people. Always remember that the people around us is a reflection of our thought, our energy, and who have we become as a person. So, isipin mo, bakit kaya surrounded ako ng maraming ng mga maraming negative energy na tao, or people that I don't want to be with. Bakit kaya? Rather than looking outside, you look inside and say, what is the energy, or what is the energy that I'm actually vibrating, or the energy that I'm broadcasting to the world? Who am I as a person? You look inside and say, okay, kaya pala I'm attracting all these things. It's because I feel this is my reality. So number one is being aware, going back to your question, the number one way to heal yourself, or to begin to point to the direction where you want to go, is observing your thought, recognizing the thought that you have, while if you want to start this practice of grounding meditation. That's number one. No matter how many times you practice, even if you go to the mountains, you fast, if you still have that nagging thought of yourself about you not being good enough. Because why am I getting into this? You have to remember that who you are as a person came from a divine source. And if you come from a divine source, that means you are a divine being. And to truly understand that, it takes a lot of practice and digging within. Because the world around us is always teaching us that we're not good enough, that the world is a chaos, the world is bad. But just come out from that and just start from the basic, and just start with, I am a pure source of love. I came from love, and only love comes out from me. And everything that I do is out of love, not out of fear. Because there's only two real emotions in life, either love or fear. Just think that in a second, love or fear. If you're not in a relationship, step back. Am I operating out of love, or am I operating out of fear? If you're scared to do the other things in life, am I operating out of fear, or am I operating out of love? So if you're coming from love, then if you came from love, then what always comes out from you is, I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about the divine source of love, this wholeness, the inner peace. So yes. So again, number one practice is observe the thought and question the thought. When you catch the thought, question the thought and say, is this really true? How true is this? When you begin to understand that every thought that comes in your mind is not true, it's not true, then that's not you. So that's number one practice.
Hi! I'm inviting you to attend my free workshop on February 4. Ang title ay, Paano ba magka-oras para sa gusto ko? And feel free to invite your family, friends, co-workers. And sa tinagal-tagal ko na din kasi na magbigay ng training or workshop, yan, minsan sa self-care, minsan all about goals, starting over, yan. Yun yung madaling part, malaman paano ba mag-self-care, paano ba mag-start over, paano ba magkaroon ng confidence, paano ba magkaroon ng consistency na nagawin yung mga kailangan gawin para ma-achieve ang goals. Pero ang pinakamahirap pa din lagi is what? Is how to make time for those things. Kasi maraming distractions, maraming kabisihan. Okay, so yan yung topic natin sa workshop na yon. At talagang I will guide you on how you can set your priorities right and to align those priorities with what you're actually doing every day. And I also will help you to find out ano yung mga hindi aligned dyan sa priorities na yan. Dyan sa vision, dyan sa goals mo. Ano yung hindi aligned? Ano yung kumbaga distraction na pwede mo munang ipasantabi or bawasan or totally i-delete. And I will also help you to let go of tasks and habits that are no longer serving you. Lalo na kung gusto mo talagang magka-oras para sa mga importante for you. And I'll be giving you tips on how you can build a harmonious routine that covers not just your goals, but other things that you love, including your well-being and important relationships. See you on February 4, Paano ba magka-oras para sa gusto ko? Balik na tayo sa episode.
Yes. Yes. Treatable moment.
I love it.
Are we going deep? Sorry, am I boring you? Let me know.
Saktong-sakto. Hindi perfect, Vita. And mula nung umpisa hanggang ngayon, relate ako sa lahat ng sinabi mo.
Oh, thank you. Salamat, sis.
Kahit nung sa umpisa na sinabi mo, what started you in this journey was the feeling of emptiness.
Yes.
Na kahit na, okay, may trabaho ka, di ba? Life was okay, pero may emptiness.
Yeah.
And gusto kong itanong, ngayon na, syempre, we're always learning.
Yeah.
Sabi nga, it's not about perfection. So, meron pa din tayong mga inaaral, ina-apply sa buhay natin. But ano yung nakita mo ng difference coming from that point of emptiness to now? Ano yung nakita mong root cause nung emptiness na yon? What could have caused that? And how is it now that you're in this journey?
Okay. I think I want to point out, I want to clarify, those challenges, emptiness are not bad. Hindi siya masama. What we always think as a human being is that, I'm going through all these challenges. We think na it's bad, but no. If we change our perspective to because we can't connect the dots, you can only connect the dots when you look backwards, diba? You cannot see it when you're there. So I wanted to point out that those feeling of emptiness, those feeling of loneliness, depression, no purpose, challenges that I've gone through are necessary. Kailangan. It's a requirement. If you change your perspective to, okay, these challenges, I need those challenges. I need to feel lonely. I need to feel abandoned. I need to feel isolated. I need to feel empty. It's because I need to feel all those things for me to lead me to where I am now. Because this sort of molded me. I need those things for me to become the person I am now. If I didn't feel that, I won't be able to feel, full inside. I won't be able to feel peaceful inside. I need those challenges. There are created. There's only one what you call this one, the end stage. It's for you to align yourself, and to realize your purpose, and to align yourself to the vision of the divine for yourself. And those challenges are necessary for me to be able to become the person I am now. I guess we only knew what we only know now. I mean, those things that happened to me, like I said, it's necessary. it's just necessary for me to I don't see it as bakit nangyari sa akin yun, why did it happen to me. um
Yeah.
I only see it as a part of the journey, a part of where am I supposed to go. I wouldn't have this sense of, wisdom, or
Yeah.
I wouldn't have this sense of identity of who I am now if I haven't gone through all those things in life. If I haven't gone through the sadness, the not working out things, those direction that didn't work out for me, or the people that I am not with. They're all part of it. They're all part of the journey. That's why it's called journey. It's a never ending journey, because I'm not saying I'm a perfect person now. No one is perfect. What I'm trying to say is that I needed those for me to grow. I needed those challenges. I needed those heartaches, those rejection from people. I needed to fail many times um, for me to be able to realize, okay, I need to experience those things for me to become the person I am now. I need those journey. I need those experiences for me to serve the people I wanted to be. For me to relate to my clients. For me to be of service to the people I wanted to help. Because um, you cannot be that person unless you've gone through those experiences. You have to go through those experiences for you to be able to be the person you are and touch other people's lives, to be of service of other people and to inspire them with your story. Because every one of us has an experience that people need to listen or to hear. And once they hear the story, once they hear your story, they'll say, so nakaya niya yun? So meaning kaya ko din. I mean, that's the main reason why we're here on this
Mm-mm.
podcast, is we're sharing our own journey, our story, for other people to reflect and say to themselves, oh, I see. Posible pala yun. Possible pala yun na you come from no purpose at all, to okay, pwede pala akong maging coach, or pwede pala akong, or I can achieve this. I'm sure there's so many. I've seen. I'm a silent reader on social media. When I started my wellness journey, I've become so quiet in my life. um, I treasure the moments where I sit in the beach and listen to the waves. For me, this is my like this is I'm in communication with God. And I've seen so many. I'm sure there's so many Filipinos in different parts of the world that are making a difference, and by us sharing our story together, and tapping, and it's a ripple effect. By sharing our story, those people probably will say, "Oh, maybe I could share my story." And the main idea of what I'm saying is that if we open up our story to other people, those people who can hear those story can realize that, kaya ko din. They can do it too, and they can realize their own potential. And if that person realize their own potential, another person will. Our main purpose is service. And the reason why we're here together doing this podcast is because we wanted to inspire as many people in our community to bring excellence to the world. We are already do, we do, but we are moving to the next level of who we are. I see a lot of Filipinos now in the world, and I'm so proud of how they've evolved into becoming a master of their craft. And it, sobrang nakaka-proud, di ba? Yeah, that's why we're here in this podcast, is to share that experience and to tap into other people who feels like, they've lost hope and they're not in the place where they wanted to be. That's why we're sharing all our stories, this well-being journey, living intentionally, and giving them bits and pieces of our stories and how it helped us, so that it will help them too.
Wow.
Di ba?
Talk na talk ka talaga 'no, kaya pala gano'n na gano'n yung reply mo sa LinkedIn, di ba, na in-apply mo kaagad yung love or fear. Love agad ang the way you share today and even in our private messages,
Yeah,
nag-uumapaw yung love.
yeah, yeah. Kasi, di ba, I always believe in this. Um, there are people that you, this is just my personal experience, you know, sometimes um, you only meet people once. Sometimes you will never see them again. When I wake up in the morning, I always believe in how can I make it, especially in my field. You know, I work in the health and social care industry. Um, as a well-being lead now. I've gone through different roles, but this one I really like this role. Anyway, you know, I wake up in the morning and I always believe that, you know, there are people that you meet once, there are people that you going to meet again. Um, and one thing's for sure is that you leave an impression to them, not because you want to look good or be, you know, but you wanted to. This is what I've learned in this industry. You wanted to make sure that you're going to leave a mark in their lives, even if it's just a smile or even it's just a word. It will make a difference. And for me, that's it. It's about making a difference. It's about how can I be of service today? You know, when you wake up in the morning, most of the time, sabi niya, "Oh, ba yan? Pasok na naman." You know, why don't you change that mindset and say, because your work is your art, your life is your art, it's your craft. What we all do here is a form of service, you know, and maybe change that mindset into how can I be of service today? How can I make a difference today rather than, oh, it's another day, you know? And and that is a well-being journey. Um, it starts by changing your mindset, changing the way you see things, and changing the way you think. And it comes with growth, it comes with experience, it comes with different challenges, you know, and it's all part of the journey. Yeah. And that's the before and after. But you have to be patient. You have to be really patient with yourself. That's another practice that you need. You need to, it's a well-being practice. You have to be patient with yourself. You know, it doesn't matter um if you've gained weight, you're trying to lose weight, you know, mostly sa atin, I noticed this from women, sabihin lang, oh, tumataba. We always shame ourselves, you know, we always shame ourselves, we always, but the way through well-being is be kind to yourself, no matter how you feel you look like that day. Okay, just be kind. I really like this. I heard this from someone else. I think it's from a woman. I can't remember who mentioned it. Um, she said, we always, as you know, as women, we always say, oh, we always have something bad, you know, about how we look, um, especially in our community, you know, sa community natin as we you know, we're so, I noticed this when I went home. We're so, we look at our appearances. It's all about the physical appearance, you know. Um, I really like this woman, sabi niya, because this woman is having, you know, she's having a problem with her weight and she's trying to lose weight. And she said, in one of the interview, she said, just be kind to yourself. Did you know that all those weight that you've carried have carried you through your success, your failure, and it's your body's there. You know, your body is always there for you. Your success, your failure, um, your, you know, your hurts. It has been there. So um, it's about time that you give back. You give the gratitude to yourself. And I think the well-being wellness journey is not just about how you look good. It's also about how you feel about yourself. Um, and when you start, you know, changing the way how you feel about yourself, everything changes around you.
Nakaka-relax.
Oh, di ba? ano lang, it's so relieving to know that we have this podcast, obviously. It's so relieving to know that napansin mo, the world is changing now. There's so many coaches, teachers. It's so relieving to know that everything is accessible now.
Yeah.
It's just so relieving to know that you find the people that you wanted to talk to attract to, um, because you start changing who you are as a person.
Mm-mm.
'Di ba? Nakita mo yung journey nung wala ka pa dun sa journey na yun, nung hindi ka pa you're not Clarissa Dunan. Am I pronouncing it right?
Oo.
'Di ba? You you're in a low vibration
Mm.
because that's what you know is true to you, 'di ba? So you attract whatever it is you're trying. When you start changing, when you start being aware of your energy, of your mindset, and you started growing as a person, you started attracting different kind of people.
Ay.
Di ba?
At ngayon, 'di ba, ang aking long lost sister na interview ko siya.
I hope I'm making all sense
Super beyond
I hope
expectations.
I'm
At
not
least
just I hope I'm not just blabbing.
no, sobrang relate ako but of course, um, ayokong magdaldal ng magdaldal because I want to really soak in your
Yeah.
presence, your wisdom.
Oh, thank you.
And I'd like to ask if you have a message to people who are just starting in their journey. Ano
Mhm.
yung tip mo for them?
Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. It didn't just happen, you know, because you listen to a podcast. It didn't just happen like that.
Mm.
I think one of my messages that be courageous as well to know where you are in your life, and just be courageous to face that, because most of us are living in lie most of the time. um I'm going back to, trying to avoid this element of avoiding the truth, so we live in lie. um and living in lie would not lead us to um the path, the person who you wanted to become. Another one is, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. This is one of my personal um, journey as well. Um, when you start sharing your story to the world, there's a sense of vulnerability, and most of us are so scared. That you have a calling, you have a purpose. You know what's your purpose, but we're so scared to share our story. But vulnerability is your power, because when you start opening up the truth of who you are, you be you begin to touch and make other people crack open and share their stories as well. And the ultimate purpose is, when we become that, then we make this world a better place. And self-love as well, self-love and forgiving yourself. Whatever journey you're in, you have to learn to forgive yourself. Bad decisions that you made in the past, it's all meant to happen. You only knew what you only knew then. If
Mm.
you only knew what you know now, then you wouldn't make that decision, diba? So forgiving yourself. the only way the only way you're able to move forward with your life is when you're able to really and truly forgive yourself of all the bad decisions that you've had or you've done in your life, because you only knew what you only knew then. If you knew what you knew now, lahat ng coaches, lahat nung stories ng mga tao, if you've gone through, you won't make that wrong decision. But you have to learn. This is one big aha for me. I have to learn how to forgive myself. um I really had to sit down and really say to myself, not blame myself anymore of the wrong decision I made, financially, people, career, anything.
Mm.
you have to learn to forgive yourself. One big thing to release you from all those pain that you're carrying, those baggages that you and that's the well-being journey. That's the well-being journey. Number one is sit down, realize that whatever you have gone through are just there. They're just there to point you to direction where you need to go, and they're just there to mold you to the person that you ought to become. And you need all those things, the ugly, the bad, the good. You need all those things for you to be able to become the person you are now. The Clarissa Dunan, who's now had her podcast, who's, if you want to be, if you want to share a story to the world, just go and share it. If you want to create something, number one is you have to do the inner work, and that is the wellness journey, the inner work. What are my fears? What are my trauma? What am I afraid of? And what are my past? Not running away from them, but to embrace them, so that when you embrace them, you become the real or authentic version of yourself. And that's what the world needs, the authentic version of yourself. You don't need another, copycat of another person, a copy of another person. The world needs, authentic person. Yeah. And it all starts from knowing who you are, forgiving yourself, loving yourself despite of all the decisions that you made in the past and the challenges you face, and being authentic, aligning yourself to the authentic power that you have, so that you become the embodiment of the divine power that lies inside of you. That's why we're here. That's why we're all here. To be in alignment of the purpose of the divine power that is in you.
Amen to that. Nagulat din nga ako nung nagkaroon ako ng depression, anxiety, insomnia, lahat na.
Yeah. Oh, lahat.
Akala ko ang problema ko lang was psychology.
Yeah.
Psychology, okay.
Yeah.
Psychology, ayusin ko lang ang pag-iisip ko.
Mm.
Na-realize ko, tulad mo, sa journey ko, ang kinahantungan ko ay spirituality. Hindi pala pwedeng paghiwalayin yan, no?
No.
Grabe talaga, no? Psychology and spirituality. Doon ko nakita talaga na,
Yeah.
yes, I'm a human, but I'm also a being. Kaya human being,
Yeah. Yeah.
and as a spiritual being,
A spiritual being.
I've always been complete. I've always been good enough. I've always been worthy. And I've always been indestructible. Even before my body was born,
Mm-hmm.
the spirit that was given to me by God has always been complete and always connected to Him. So kahit anong mangyari sa katawan ko, sa reputation ko, sa health ko, magkaedad ako, maputulan ng paa o kung anuman, the being in me will always be complete, and that will not change. And even when my body dies, I'm not scared, because the eternal being that's perfect and complete goes home to God, and that's always a happy place. So
Yes.
habi ko, grabe talaga, no?
It is a spirit, diba?
It is a
A well-being is
spiritual,
a
yes.
wellness journey is a spiritual journey. It's it's the journey of finding who you are, what
Mm-mm.
you're created to be. In you don't have to go through all this drama in your life for you to find that out. If we send this message across to the people who's watching right now, and tell them, that who you are, it's not just a human being trying to pay the bills, trying to be rich, or trying to have the next Hermes bag. No, we have a higher and greater purpose. And that's why we're here. We are a spiritual being having a human experience. And
Yeah.
just think about that. We're not just a human being, we're a spiritual being having a human experience. We need the physical body to experience things.
Yeah.
Um and I think that's the most important. If there's one thing, no, we wanted to share the audience today is to realize that there's a bigger and higher purpose of your life on
Yeah.
this earth. It's not just about, oh, I'm gonna, oh, I'm gonna be the next big thing. Oh, I'm gonna be the famous one. Oh, I'm gonna be, yes, okay, fine, but what is the truest and highest purpose of your life, and how can you align yourself to that purpose that God has given you? Once you realize that, then all of us are making this world a better place, because you're aligning the truest expression of yourself and aligning that to the purpose of God. Then yeah, that's it.
At di matitibag, 'no? Di
Oo, hindi
matitibag
ka
kasi napakalaki ng kinakapitan
'Di
natin.
ba? Hindi ka lang pupunta sa work just because you're going to work. What is, change that mindset into what is your highest and truest, what is the highest and truest expression of myself? What is my purpose in this, lifetime? If you have that mindset, then you come out to the world differently. You speak differently about yourself. You relate to other people differently. That's what I feel, is
Mm,
our mission in this world.
yeah.
'Di ba?
And na-mention mo kanina sa work natin, I'd like to ask, how can people continue working with you? Kasi kanina na-mention mo you have clients. So, what are the services that you offer and how can people reach you?
Um, People can reach me through my social media. I have LinkedIn account. They can just find me. They can just find my name, Vita Baggayan. I also have Instagram account, Love Vitality Yoga. I also have Facebook, same Vitality Yoga. So I am the owner and founder of Vitality Yoga Philippines. Um, the services I offered are private ones because I'm now abroad. I used to offer classes, personal classes, private classes back in the Philippines. Maybe when I'm back home, I can reopen that again. But for now, I would like to work on one-on-one clients. So the main service I offer is for me to help you realize your full potential as a human being, either through coaching, through yoga, through practice, and to move you to the next level of your life, and to share to you my own personal journey and how that helped me to become, for you to become, or move to the next level of yourself, of your soul, of your life. And that's the kind of service I do. um, I I don't want to share this more, but I'm moving away from just being a yoga teacher. I felt that I was just scratching the surface as a yoga teacher. So if I work with you, we're going to work through your traumas. We're going to work with your fears. We're going to work with the things that you're struggling with to move to the next level of your life, and how can you use all those things for you to realize your full potential. So these are the things that the kind of service, the kind of things I offer to the world. Um, the first half an hour is you could book a half an hour chat with me, um, or and then we can go through that. I will send you a link as well on how I'll get more information from you so I know what to work
Yeah.
with, all those things. I'm starting to learn about I'm leaning towards alternative medicine these days. Um, I'm moving because I feel like there's more to learn into well-being and wellness, and I wanted to make sure that I offer a bit more. So these are the things that I'm offering at the moment. I don't post a lot. I believe in attracting the right people that is meant to be on my path. So if you're listening, um, you know, follow me or join me or message me. I'm happy to chat with you to help. Um, and always remember that this is not the end bit. You know,
Mhm.
this is not the end part. Um, and um, there's always something in you that needs to unleash for you to um, become the better version of yourself.
Thank you so much, Vita.
You're welcome.
And I've seen the power of coaching sa
Mm.
sarili mong buhay. You've worked with coaches, 'di ba?
Oh
Sa
my God,
sarili
yeah.
mong buhay din. So it's really, really important if you, especially if you want to cut the guessing, right? And to really have an accountability partner. So I'll
Mm-mm.
put your links sa show notes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And na-mention mo kanina, ano, marami ka pang gustong ikwento. Siguro, ibig sabihin yan, may part
Ah,
2 tayo ng business.
yeah, sige, sige, why not? I'm
Nakontrata
up
na
to it.
online eh, no? But thank
Oo.
you so much, Vit. I really enjoyed listening to you. Na-nourish ako ng presence mo.
Oh,
And,
thank you.
and
Me too.
can I ask again? Of course, feeling ko di ka makakahindi kasi
Kasi
napa-oo na
naka-record.
kita kanina kasi I ask you to help me to ground nung
Yes.
bago tayo mag-record. Can you help all of us here right now as we close this
Hmm.
with another grounding from you?
Yes, yes, definitely. So if you're listening right now, or if you haven't even tuned out and you're still with us, I'd like to invite you um, to a grounding experience, to a meditation experience with me. So if you can close your eyes, and wherever you are right now, whether you're sitting, you're lying down, um, you're doing something while listening, um, just pause for a moment and begin to find a quiet space and take a deep breath, allowing the breath of life to fill your body. Maybe you have been going through a lot of stress these days, or maybe life is not just going to the direction where you wanted to go. And maybe your body is just feeling a lot of aches and pains from all the stress of life, and maybe you're just going through things and life has become so difficult. And I want you to just find this quiet moment to take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, relax your face, particularly that muscle on your forehead, that muscle in between your eyebrows. Just relax your eyebrows, your jaw. Maybe you're clenching too much of your jaw, and just allow your face to relax. Allow your neck to relax. Allow your chest to relax. All the way down to your belly, all the way down to your spine, your back. Allow your body to rest or be supported by chair, by bed, wherever you are. Allow your feet to, and your thighs, your legs, and every part of your body to just rest. And as you ground yourself, begin to ask yourself, how am I feeling today? And begin to recognize the feeling you have, the thought that you have. Even if it's just a feeling of sadness, a feeling of joy, a feeling of peace, a feeling of satisfaction. And allow those feelings to just be there. We're not masking the feeling. We're not trying to avoid the feeling. We're just trying to understand and observe that feeling. And once you begin to recognize the feeling, I just want you to let the feeling or let the thought pass like a cloud. Imagine they're just like a cloud. They're just there. They present to you. And the cloud just passed by. And then another thought would come in, allowing those thoughts, those feelings to come and allow it to pass by. The idea of this practice is observing, recognizing that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking at the moment is valid. We're not trying to avoid it. We're just trying to recognize it. And when that thought becomes too much, or when that feeling becomes overwhelming, just take a deep breath, releasing what no longer serves your mind, your body, and letting go. And as we end this practice, we are going to end it with gratitude. And as you allow your mind, your body to rest, begin to just think of 3 things that you're grateful for today. It could be a smile from a colleague, or a good conversation, a coffee with a friend, or a driver being kind to you, or a stranger being nice to you. Whatever it is, just 3 things that you're grateful for today. And as you feel that feeling of gratitude, that feeling of gratefulness, I want you to feel that in your body. Feel the feeling you felt when you felt that feeling of gratitude. What we're doing here is we are teaching our body to remember that feeling. And when we teach our body to remember that feeling, we tend to do it more. So one by one, just think of those moments where you felt grateful. Allow them to sink in. Allow them to fill your heart with joy. Take a deep breath one more time. And just slowly say to yourself, I'm love. I'm strong. I'm empowered. I'm great. I'm healthy. I'm well. I forgive you. I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. And I'm sorry. Take a deep breath. Release everything that no longer serves your mind, your body. And when you're ready, just slowly wiggle your toes, maybe wiggle your fingers, maybe roll your neck if you feel you're stuck on the screen. Just releasing all the energy and just begin to slowly open your eyes. And thank you.
Wow.
No,
Magic. Thank you, Vita.
you're welcome.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for listening to Realizations with Clarissa today. I'll be back next week with more well-being, relationship, productivity, and quiet mind tips to help you get the most out of life. For now, please remember to follow and subscribe. Please share the podcast with your friends o kung sino man na alam mo na pwedeng matulungan ng podcast na to. Love you and have a great week.